All right, so I'm gonna read through each of these subjects, each of these requirements. Each one of these has a rubric that you follow, that I follow. So Unit 1, Lessons 1 and 2. So I'm combining the first two lessons, the one we just started and the next one. You'll be creating a constellation project for our Sky Science unit. The purpose of this project is to demonstrate your understanding of constellations and teach others about them in an artistic and interesting way. Your project will involve a written, artistic, and hands-on component. Review what you know about constellations and/or do research using books, encyclopedias, or internet resources to find out. So you need to tell me, what is a constellation? Who created the constellations? How did constellations get named or created? Then you're going to write a paragraph about what you know. Research a specific constellation of your choice. Take notes about its origin and the story behind it, and write a paragraph about your constellation. That's the first part of the project. So, you're going to pick a constellation. The Big Dipper, Taurus, those star patterns in the sky. You have to do some research and write some paragraphs about that. That's the first part of this part of the project. Part B, the second part, is you're actually going to create your chosen constellation on a black paper provided by me. So I'll give you a piece of black construction paper. Or if you get my permission, you can use a different material. Okay. For the large or major stars in the constellation, and you draw small hand-drawn stars for the rest. So what I expect you to do with this is that black construction paper, you're either going to attach rice. I like rice because it's white and it contrasts really good on the construction paper, or you can actually poke holes for your constellation in the black. So that'll also create a white effect as well. For the major stars, so in each constellation there's 5 or 6 major stars. For the rest of them you will hand draw. So you will use a white crayon or a white pencil to draw the rest of the stars. So this one has got 2 components, a writing component, and then you actually have to create a constellation. Depending on your constellation, you may need to draw faint lines connecting the stars to show the true shape being made. So if you have the Big Dipper, it's very, very, very shaped. So you have like a rectangle. So you have to actually, you may draw it out, and that's fine. You use pencil, it'll fade in with the black. Don't erase it, just fade it in. Boop, boop, boop. Describe how the location of constellations is different throughout each night and also throughout the year. You have to tell me why, when I look up in the sky, that constellation isn't in the same place every single night. So you're going to have to do some research on that. Why isn't it in the same place every single night? Maybe common sense, but you have to tell me why. Explain why it is. You may also want to draw diagrams to support your explanation. So that has 2 different parts. You have to tell me what a constellation is, tell me the story about it, and then tell me about its movement. I also need to be able to see your constellation. So each of you will be getting the rubric for this as well. So that's the first part. So lessons 1 and 2, all you're doing is you're making a constellation. You're doing research on what they are, who named them. Then you're going to pick one. I don't really care, but it needs to be a major one. I may show you a list of 15 major constellations. You pick one, you research it, you tell me about it, typed on a piece of paper. Nice. So that's the first project you have to do. First of 4. The second, Unit 1, Lesson 3, Stellar Evolution. This is where we're going to talk about, you're going to show me how stars evolve, how they start and how they end. Okay? We're going to learn that in Lesson 3 in a couple weeks. So, for this assignment, you will create a poster or a study chart on the evolution of a star's life cycle. If you guys go to any store, Walmart, Walgreens, Target, Kmart, what have you, go find those large poster boards. You may ask Miss Ski for a poster board. If she'll give you one, by golly, ask her for it. Or you can use those trifold, those science fair type trifold poster boards. Use one of those. So, you will create a poster showing me the evolution of a star. You will also have to write a description for each stage of the star's life cycle as well. The poster will be completed on trifold style poster board. And I just told you, you don't have to do the trifold. You can, if you can fit it all on a large piece of poster, you can. It cannot be on a regular size sheet of paper. It cannot be on the back of a cereal box. It has to be on the large poster board. You will find out in just a second why it has to be on large poster board. On the final page of the assignment, you will find a template to base your poster on. By the way, it's right here. You will find it right here. This is the entire evolution of a star. You guys will get, each of you will get one of these. Okay. Each stage of the life cycle is worth a total of 8 points. So each stage is worth 8 points. With the poster, an additional 20 points, bringing this part of the assignment to 100 points. First part is 100 points. This part is 100 points. Included with the diagram will be a paragraph description of each stage of the life cycle. I would like this description to be on the diagram and associated with each stage. Do not just list the descriptions on a different page, the back, or randomly throughout the poster. This information should describe the important events that take place during this stage of the star's life cycle. So, here's what I want to see. If you have it on a big poster, which you will, each stage of the life cycle will be demonstrated like this, but much larger. For each stage, I expect a note card. So those big note cards, and I may give you guys some, or you may have some at home. A paragraph on each note card describing the important parts of that stage. They are then attached to that stage of the life cycle of the star. It's on there with the actual description of the stage. Okay. Suggestions. Follow my suggestions. I wrote these suggestions. Follow my suggestions. You will want to write the description before you put your diagram on the paper. So, do the description first. If you start with the diagram first, so meaning you've put all the stuff on the poster, you haven't written a single thing, you want your poster done, you put everything on the poster, you will run out of room, and you won't have room for the information with proper organization. You do all the pretty stuff first, you're going to run out of room, and you won't have room for the important stuff. And you're going to lose points for each of those. You'll want to get an idea how much room the paragraphs will take up and plan a rough draft of your poster. So if I'm saying a note card will work, or maybe two large note cards, map it all out. Have your poster board on a table. Figure out where you want each stage of the life cycle of a star to be. Figure out how you want the poster to fit with the descriptions. Because if you don't have those descriptions next to the life stage of the star, you don't get credit. So even if you have them all, if I don't see those paragraphs next to the stage, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. So you have to do some planning with this. I want the information on the same side of the page as the diagram, and I want each paragraph to be associated with the image stage of the star's life cycle. Do not have the info for black holes on the left side of the paper and the diagram on the right side. So I'm telling you, if the black hole is over here, your description of the black hole has to be directly right next to it. Don't make me go look for it. I'm not going to have time for that. So if you have a picture of the black hole, your information for the black hole has to be right next to it. Make sure your diagram is well labeled so it's easy to tell which paragraph goes with which stage. It would be a good idea if you were to number each stage and then next to the description, have that number on the card. Make it obvious for me. I'm going to be grading a lot of these and I'm not going to have time to try to find your stuff. If I can't look and I can't see it immediately, I'm going to mark it as not being there. If I have to go search for it, it's not going to be good for you. You have to make it easier for me to see it. So, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stages of a life cycle of a star. They are a nebula, a protostar, main sequence star, a giant, superstar giant, planetary nebula, white dwarf, nova, supernova, neutron star, and black hole. I have to see all 10 of those on a poster. It may be a good idea, if you're not going to get the trifold, get 2 sheets of those poster boards. It's going to take up a lot of room. If you don't have all 10, it's 8 points for everyone you're missing. And when you only have 10, if you're missing 3 or 4 of those, your score is going to go down fast. Each one of those descriptions is worth 8 points. Your poster that you make that's going to look like this, is worth 20 points. If you don't have this, your grade immediately will be a B. Immediately, starting off the point. So, with each one of these, I have to see a description of that cycle next to it. So, for this one, red supergiant. Your description of a red supergiant has to be right there. And for each one of these, I do have 4 or 5 points that you have to tell me about. So let's look at just number 4, a superstar giant. 1, how long does this stage last? You have to tell me how long the stage lasts. 2, why do main sequence stars become giants or supergiants? You have to research that and tell me that. C, what type of fusion or which elements makes this stage? D, where does the energy from the fusion come from? E, why is the star expanding? And F, why does the stage end and what happens? You have to do all that research and find all that information for me. That's the second project you have to do. First one is the star. Second one is the evolution of a star. The next one you have to do is a solar system model. So you're going to make a model of the solar system. We've been learning about the solar system in models. In order to show what you have learned, I would like for you to create your own solar system model to display in the classroom. There are no limits to the project. You can use anything you like. Are no limits. Use anything you like. This will be a test grade, so make sure you do your best. I encourage you to be creative and show what you have learned. There are some basic rules for the project. 1, you must have the sun and all 8 planets. You may include Pluto if you wish, but remember, it isn't a planet anymore. There's been some discussion about that. Yes, Pluto's a planet. No, Pluto's a planet. Doesn't matter to me. If you include Pluto, you can. If you don't, I'm fine with that. So either 8 or 9 planets plus the sun. If you don't have the sun, you don't have a solar system. The sun needs to be the biggest object. If your Pluto is the same size of the sun, you didn't do the right thing. Because the sun is by far the largest star in our solar system. Okay? Try to keep the planets in proportion. In other words, Earth should not be larger than Jupiter. Earth should not be larger or as large as Jupiter. So you're going to have to do some research on how big the planets are compared to each other. All objects must be labeled correctly and where I can easily read it. They must be labeled appropriately and where I can read it. The planet should be colored correctly. Follow the color patterns below. You have to follow these patterns. Mercury is the color yellow. Color over the yellow with a light brown. Venus, color it yellow. Color that with a light brown. Earth, color the land brown or green, water blue, and the clouds white. Mars, color the ice caps white, because there are ice caps on Mars. Color the rest of the planet orange. Cover that orange with a light red. So you have to do it in staging. If you just color one color, it's not going to be appropriate. Or if you have like an orange red, sure, that'll work. If you have an orange red, sure. Like a burnt orange, that's going to be okay, because it's not just red, it's not just orange. Saturn or Jupiter, color the planet orange, yellow, red, and light brown. Make the giant red spot dark red. Saturn, color that planet yellow and light orange. Color the rings light yellow. Note that the rings, Saturn has rings. If your Saturn does not have rings, it's not Saturn. Uranus, color the planet blue-green. And Neptune, color the planet blue. Color the clouds white. Make the giant dark spot dark blue. You may use anything you like to do the project. A coat hanger, a box, dowel rods, styrofoam balls, food, whatever you like. So, it can be 3D. You can have it hanging from the classroom. If you're going to have it hanging from my classroom, you have to plan accordingly. These are 10-foot ceilings. So you have to bring in at least 4 foot of string to hang it from the ceiling so I can see it right above where you sit. You can have it in a big box. If you want food, it can be on a table right there in front of me. What I do not want is for you to draw these out. I don't want you to hand draw them. I don't want printed pictures. I want you to create something. You can use Legos. I don't care. You can use Legos. You can use anything around the house, but it has to be proportionate to an actual planet. If you show me, I don't know, crackers, you're like, ah, that's Saturn. No, it's not. There's no rings around those crackers. You have to show me effort. So it can be 3D, huge, hanging, as big as you want it to be. It can also be about as small as this box. I'm okay with that. If you can fit everything on here and have maybe it's miniature, maybe it's on they're on toothpicks, but it's there. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it being small. I'm okay with it being large. Some students are going to have it be gigantic. If you want it to be the size of these 6-foot tables, bully to you. Go after it. Get your dream. But if you want it to be small, I'm fine with that too. Okay? If you need supplies, be sure to ask me. I will help however I can. But do not wait till the last minute. Do not wait. If you wait until a week before this project is due, you're not going to have a good time. Plan ahead. You guys will, in the next week, be receiving like those grading rubrics that I gave you where I want to see a certain amount of progress each week. I'm going to want to see that again. I want to see you actually are thinking about this because I'm not even to the last one yet. This is just the third project for this week, for this quarter. 100 points. Here's your rubric. Follow this. If you want a certain grade, follow this rubric because when I grade your project, I am grading right off of this. I'm grading right off of that. So, 8 planets plus a sun. 9 planets plus a sun. They have to be colored appropriately. I do not allow printed pictures, drawn pictures. It has to be something attached to something else. It can be as large as this room. It can be as small as a box of tissues. I'm okay with that. Anything you want to use at home, you can. Okay? If you want it to be little styrofoam balls glued to a piece of construction paper or a big box, fine. As long as you have, like, I see the rings, I see the coloring, just make sure you pay attention to how you color these. Okay? The last one. The last one. Okay. Ow! Hope you guys are ready for this. I saved the best for last, literally. All right. The last one you'll do is a planet poster. A planet poster. Okay? Guidelines and rubric are right here. Make a poster about each of the following planets. By the way, I have to see 8 different posters. 8 different posters. This is too small. Can't fit all the information I'm going to require for each planet on a piece of paper. Minimum. You're going to have to get like those large posters, fold them in half, and each half can be for one of your planets. If you need assistance, let me know. If you need materials, let me know. Okay, so you have to do a poster for every planet. For every planet. Following: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, and Earth. So you have to show me all of them. Show me all of them. Okay. The poster should be on a large sheet of poster board. And include a drawing or a picture of your planet. This is the one objection where you are allowed to hand draw a picture of your planet. And in fact, all this information can be handwritten. You don't have to go out and be building anything. These are just posters. So, make sure your poster contains all the required information below for full credit. And I'm going to read each one of these. There are 16 items you have to have on each poster. So, 1. The name of your planet. The name of the planet. Obvious. If you draw Neptune, you got to show me it's Neptune. 2. The mythological origin of your planet's name. The way we name our planets is no accident. They're all purposeful, and you need to tell me where these names come from.